So I was reading the comments, one comment, and I understand the nature that when I did my live feed, I did it because of the fact that I want to share my own point of view, and it doesn't really matter what people think most times, because the fact that I share what I need to share. I try to educate through my Facebook page. I educate people through anything else. But it's not always easy because, you know, people are blindsided a lot of times. And it's not my choice. I can't make people change. That's given. That's on them to see if they want to change or not. But those are people that I have changed their lives. They decided to divorce their wives. They decided to divorce their husbands, whatever the case is, or, you know, because I had to understand this, because as long as I reach to certain people, I'm able to help them to gain perspective in situations, circumstances. They may not always be on Facebook, or not. It might be on Facebook or social media, but I have talked to customers who came to me and heard my story in the situation at my work, because I work in a retail, and I'm very personable. I like to reach out to people. And I talked to them about my situation, which really inspired them to gain perspective in their relationship and see what they really want to do. I don't force people to do anything. I don't expect to be right by anybody. I just share my point of view. And if they make that choice to, you know, leave their spouse or stay with their spouse, that's on them. The fact is, as long as I know what I can do and share my own point of view and I master that part, that's all that matters, because only self-mastery is me. But a lot of people think that I'm trying to like do right by them or whatever the case may be. No, I'm just here sharing my point of view. Especially when I'm living with my own folks at the moment after this whole fiasco of COVID and lockdown and prices jacking high in gas prices. Right now, gas went back up to $4, and I'm like, here in Pennsylvania. Last time I went to Wawa gas station, I was about to pay $3.85 for gas. I'm like, no, thank you. Went to see, there's ones that says $3.99 now. Exxon, right here behind me, says $3.99. So it's almost $4 for gas now. I'm like, damn. But in all honesty, what I'm trying to do is just share my point of view, because I know what I do. I even told my brother he's an idiot. Point blank on a Facebook message. The reason why I did a Facebook message is because of the fact I can't see him face to face. And so therefore I'm like, you know what? You're going to have to see the long haul, what's going to happen 10, 20 years down the road, and you're the one who's going to... You're going to have the same problem. I don't mean to like be the bearer of bad news, but I see patterns of behaviors and I start seeing certain things, and I'm like, my sister did follow the same path as my mother. And I'm looking like, oh, that poor, sweet, new daughter of hers. And I'm like, oh, that poor child in some ways. Because you know why I say that? It's because the nature of how the past repeats itself in the present, because the past has not been dealt with. And when the past has not been dealt with, it will reveal itself in the present moment. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't really understand the nature as to why things repeat. It doesn't matter if you're from a different country or where you're from. This does exist. And when this exists, we have to face it full head on. We have to confront the issue head on. We have to really see things for what they are and not how we want them to be. Because so many people want to see things for what they want them to be, they lack the sense of seeing things for what they are. Oh, this car is so old, it's falling apart like crazy. This is why my stops are not smooth anymore. This car has some problems, sorry. But like I was saying, when it comes down to it, we, as though the ones who have gone through the abuse, all we can do is just share awareness, share what's going on, but that's all we can do. And the whole thing, I'm like, answering this question about gray rocking. I can only gray rock so much to the point where you push my buttons. It's like you hear the dog growling, you tell the person, like it's like this, best analogy I can give you. If the dog is growling and telling you to back off and you don't listen and the dog bites, it's not the dog's fault because it warned you it's gonna bite if you keep attacking it. And therefore, that's something that I had to understand. I had to understand the nature of why this is occurring. Like, it's like I can only be patient and so much in that zone of being okay to the point of eventually I will snap, and you don't want me to snap. And then they play the victim in situation that they have created, and that's a lot of things with that too. See, I think that's the thing about men and women. We our anatomy are different. Women can only go gray rock for so long, to the point that our emotion and estrogen will accelerate. See, with men, they don't have to deal with women's hormones, biologically speaking. I'm talking about biology. I'm not talking about transgender men and women. I'm talking about biological women who was born as a female in a female body, as anatomy calls it. We have to process things a little bit different because we see things a lot different than the men do. Men don't have that extra estrogen that creates these hormones that makes us more emotional, you know, as much. I'm not saying men are not emotional, they just don't have to deal with it as much as we do. And so someone like me, who is a woman who has to deal with this extra emotional issues, especially during my period time, it can be very difficult. I think it's just knowing the nature of understanding that biology has equipped men and women to see things a little bit differently. So I had to really understand this as I was reading this one comment, and the only comment that I gotten. And I understand the nature of what this person was saying too, because I understand that nature, gray walking does work in many cases, but when you're a woman and you're in a woman's body, it's a lot different than what you would think. And I have tried the whole gray walking thing. I've tried a lot of different things too, but in many cases, when it comes down to it, reality is that you can only go so much into the situation. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I am totally not perfect. I am beyond perfect. I have deep-rooted issues that I'm working through. So functionally, I am trying to deal with this. It's not easy. I'm trying to deal with my mother's mood swings, my mother's issues, and I'm trying to deal with things at work, and I'm trying to like figure out my schedules and everything, and it's just a lot to process and handle, and it's not always easy. I'm trying to deal with my own anxiety too, because if I don't deal with my anxiety, my son has anxiety, and my son's anxiety is up here too. He's of me, and I'm the one trying to resolve everything around me. It's just very hard. And when the cost of living is rising, my mom's like, oh, why did you get a babysitter? I'm like, do you think I can afford a babysitter when I'm paying for everything else, like extracurricular activities, or paying for swimming lessons, things my son likes to do? I am paying all that. I don't have extra money that I can just spare for babysitter. Even my son's tutorer says, like, if your mom didn't act the way she was, you will be able to move that house faster than, you know, than her complaining about the situation. I'm like, I know. But what can you do? It's just like they should rather complain than solve situations, solve problems. And I'm trying to solve problems. I'm not sure how to do that half the time, because financially speaking, I'm trying to deal with the whole court case with my own son's father, which is taking longer than I expected. And I knew that was going to take longer. But reality is, I'm trying to deal with functionality of my own circumstance. I don't know what that is half the time. I don't. Anyways, I just want to share that with you, because I think it's so important to really take into the consideration that comes with it. Because my brother-in-law can do whatever he wants with his marriage. He wants to be blindsided by the situation, that's on him. Because I see this with many people, and people come to me for marital rights, and I'm the one who got out of a situation like mine. The reason why I got out of it is because I know the situation of what occurred, because I created the same past in my present, and I realized this is not healthy. I had to get out, and I had to realize, you know what, he could take the stuff, I would just take myself and leave. And that is when I found myself. I'm going to just explain a little bit here. I was pregnant with my firstborn until after I left him, and then moved back with my folks, which is a bad idea, because I knew my parents really didn't want to help me. They just wanted to utilize what I had just so they can take advantage of the situation too. So all of that in converse, I am now going to grocery shopping and then going home. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you guys real soon. Have a great day, guys.